Hello and welcome to a very special edition of the Legal Geeks. We have with us tonight one of our favorite judges. We love a lot of judges, but one of our favorites. He's made appearances before on the Legal Geeks in videos and in some of our blogs. It is Judge Matt Sciarrino. Hi, Judge. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing well, thanks. I also have Josh, my geek partner, with me. I should have said hi to Josh, too. Hey, Josh. How are you doing?
Circle is now complete, Jessica.
So
we have both coasts and the middle covered.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Impressive. I like that.
We do. Who's got snow?
Yeah.
No snow.
I'm the only one with snow. We have lots of snow. It's fabulous. I still love it.
You can keep it.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
All right, so we are East Coast to West Coast here. This is impressive. And we are here tonight to talk about one of our things that we all share, that I love we all share, and that is Star Wars. But specifically, we're here to discuss something that I think is very close to the judge's heart, right? And that's why you've agreed to talk to us about this tonight and explain it to me, because I really don't know anything about this. And this is the Clone Wars. So can you tell me a little bit about what this Clone Wars thing is and what's going on with that?
They just finished the fifth season, and it's a computer graphic cartoon, and the writing has been excellent. They've had now 5 good years and numerous story arcs, and the last story arc was probably the most impressive, I think. And it wrapped some things up nicely, and it also featured a lot of legal issues, which was nice.
Since we also all love legal issues. All right, well, what are these legal issues? What was the episode arc or the arc that you're talking about?
This was a 4-episode arc that started with a terrorist bombing of the Jedi Temple, and it dealt with a lot of issues with dealing with the Jedis being in war to begin with, and should the Jedis be involved in war. And in the end, or towards the end, one of the Jedis was accused of being one of the co-conspirators with the terrorists, and the last episode itself dealt with her trial.
Wow. Okay, so this is some pretty intense legal issues.
Even jurisdictionally, it went into at the beginning of the episode. The last episode dealt with basically almost a preliminary cause hearing, or a reasonable cause hearing, depending what they call it in your respective state, where she was a Jedi. So the Jedi Council had to find reasonable cause, and once they did, they expelled her from the order and then transferred jurisdiction to the Senate, which conducted a military-type trial with the chancellor as the judge. And everyone's favorite senator, Senator Almadallo, was the defense counsel for this particular Jedi. I know some people were hoping that Jar Jar was going to be the defense counsel, but no such luck.
Yeah. A Wookiee would have been interesting, because just growl.
They could have given the Wookiee defense.
Yeah. And
you know you're a legal geek.
We went there.
Absolutely.
We are clearly legal geeks. Oh my. Okay, so as a judge, what did you think of the issues and how they addressed them in the arc?
I thought it was handled well. I mean, the personal issues certainly outpaced the trial, which was almost the background to the other things that were going on between Anakin, and it was his Padawan that was accused of committing this crime and working with the terrorists. So in dealing with her and trying to prove her innocence, he fell further down the slope towards the dark side. And you saw that happening as well. I mean, there's even a graphic fight where he uses a force choke against a bounty hunter, and in order to get information from her. So you'd certainly see the slide to the dark side coming to fruition with this episode as well. And it ends with another hole in Anakin's heart, which again gives further justification towards the ultimate slide that he takes to become Darth Vader.
Yeah, I was impressed with the fight scenes, and the issue of torture, compiled with his ability. I counted at least 2 force chokes with during the episode. It was like, whoa, he's getting in the habit of doing that, and
Absolutely.
just going for it right from the get-go. Pick him up by the throat, and it's like,
And you saw the anger in him as he in these various fights. And this season the fight scenes have been incredible. The graphics have gotten so good, and the sounds, and whoever's doing the composing for the episodes is up to John Williams caliber, in that it really mirrors the action that's going on, and helps build it in a way that I think is one of the greatest parts about the movies, because Star Wars without the music is nowhere near as good as with the music. And the cartoons have gotten to that level, and it's really, really impressive. Earlier in this arc, because Darth Maul comes back this year, and there was a fight between Darth Maul and the head of the Mandalorians that was just off the chart.
Wow, you're really selling this. I have got to watch these.
yeah,
This year has been, without a doubt, the best of the 5 years, in my opinion.
yeah,
Last season was very, very good. The first two, if you watch them now, they're graphically not as good as now, but the storylines themselves have been good all 5 years.
that, and I like what they've done with Tarkin. And his rise to becoming governor, and the Doctrine of Fear, and everything that compiled. And
And Admiral Tarkin was the prosecutor for this trial as well, which was really interesting to see. And yeah, you really see the shift in these last couple episodes with the Jedi, not the clone troopers, leaving the Jedi's commanders and moving more towards being controlled by the Empire. And you also see a real visual type of Third Reich type of atmosphere to the Empire, with the flags and the parades and the salutes, and the real militaristic empire that is being built that you really didn't see in the movies. You see it really, really
Yeah.
strong in these last couple episodes.
I have to ask, is Anakin, the animated version, less annoying than the Hayden Christensen version?
I think the Anakin cartoon is a much better actor than the Hayden Christensen Star Wars. And I happen to think that Hayden is an excellent actor. In his non-Star Wars roles, I think he's really, really good. I think that not everyone can act with a green screen.
Yeah.
And I think was George Lucas's downfall, is so much CGI, so much green screen, with actors that just aren't as good at acting with a green screen, and as a result, I think it lost a lot of it. I'm hopeful that the future movies that are now coming out, that although I want the special effects and the CGI, I hope that they can get a better act out of the actors with more interpersonal acting.
well,
Yeah.
I mean, to go down that road, I mean, we actually have a track record with J.J. Abrams and how he does this, and so.
I agree, and Star Trek is a great example. The last Star Trek movie I thought was incredibly well done, and it had all of the bells and whistles that you would want in a science fiction show.
I would
With good
also
acting, too.
I would also throw in Super 8 into that category. With the ability to have an alien running around in 1979 and have it look right, because it fits. So no, I have high hopes from.
I do too. I think Abrams is a great choice,
Yep.
and I'm hopeful that he does as good a job as I think he will do.
Who would have thought back in his Felicity days that he would end up having both, Star Wars and Star Trek in the palm of his hands? I mean, that's pretty wild.
If they start having joint conventions, then I'll be really worried.
It would be like Yalta. So it would be.
All right, well, so now, do I understand that they didn't read the verdict at the end of the arc? Is that true?
Well, it was It was Solved Perry Mason style, where the true bomber was brought in by Anakin, and she happened to be one of Ahsoka's best friends. And I'm happy to say that I predicted it was her. But so at that point they didn't go through with the verdict, because she gave a speech that said why she was doing this, which was basically that she saw the Jedi going towards a path of war, and it's not the Jedi way, and and that they needed to return to their peaceful, more Buddhist roots. If you know anything about George Lucas, a lot of the Jedi beliefs are based on through Buddhism, and so she was doing this as a way to bring the Jedi's back to peace. So she gave a full confession, and then of course the Jedi Council apologized to to Ahsoka in only the way that the Jedi's can apologize, which was, see, this was your great trial, and the Force moves in mysterious ways, and they never actually said the words, we're sorry. We're sorry we wrongly accused you. We thought, the evidence was there. The words, we're sorry, never came out of Mace's mouth. And as a result, she decided to leave the Order and leave Anakin, and that's where the season ends, is her leaving, which probably saved her life, because that means that she won't be around for Order 66.
Yep. Which means we could see her in an episode 7, because when we...
Or one of the standalone movies,
yep.
or a comic book series, or in true Star Wars fashions, they've now made they made her live on, and a lot of people thought that she would die much earlier because she's clearly not in the movies, so there has to be a reason why she's not in the movies, and most people figured it was because she would die. I think she became such a liked character that killing her off probably would have been a mistake. And now, yeah, she's, you can do books, you can do movies, you can do comic books, you can do all kinds of things now with her character.
But she never became a full Jedi, is that right?
They were about to make her a full Jedi Knight because they were going to consider this her Padawan trial, but she said no, thank you, basically.
Well, when you look at actually Erskine being probably the ultimate, or actually probably one in the top 5 of being a female geek entrepreneur. She voices a popular character that they now want to keep around for something. Her universe and what she's done there with the shirts and costumes and everything else, and marketing sci-fi directly to girls has really expanded that universe, and it's just brilliant, and so very, very good. And some of the questions she's answered, and basically defending that Star Wars is for girls and about half the audience is female, is a good thing. So they can't kill her off, because they need her. And
it would be nice to see someone besides Princess Leia, a strong female who's strong all the time and not a princess.
Who can actually...
I think we'll see that in the next movies.
Yeah.
And maybe 2 women actually speaking to each other, because that has yet to happen on screen. So that's...
Oh my God. No, well, no. They talked... In Phantom Menace, really didn't Queen Amidala talk to... I bet, yeah, that was probably very not really important or anything.
Right. There's been a few little snippets. I mean, even Mon Mothma talks to Leia briefly, and but never any conversations of significance.
Yeah, that's true. That is annoying. All right, well, good. Well, maybe they're finally rectifying.
But let's geek out in another direction.
We'll do a continuation after you've watched the episode.
Okay. Let's geek out in the other direction. So we have our Jedi on the run, who create some electronic evidence along the way while she's on the run, and I counted several. One, her Jedi communicator, so it'd be like a cell phone. So that'd be one, and with the call that she made. The second call that she made, where she doctored the device so it wouldn't trace her call, would be the second, at least. And then all the nano probes as well would also be individual electronic evidence. And there's probably a few other things that I missed, but that's at least what jumped out at me.
Yeah, as far as electronic evidence, the tracing of the phone call from when Ahsoka called for help and she was led to the warehouse, that call was probably not hidden as well as some of the other calls, so that one probably would have lasted. And even Anakin, when he walked into her room, very quietly took her lightsaber away.
Yep.
Knowing that to be guilty, she would have Venturis's two lightsabers and then proceeded to swing at her, where she then was forced to get out from this hidden vase the two lightsabers. So that was the clinching as far as Anakin was concerned as to her guilt. Now, there's some interesting debate amongst the canon people, because in various comic books, she is a Jedi that's killed in Order 66. So now there's the debate, how does she get out of prison in order to be killed for the Order 66? But most purists don't consider the comic books to be canon.
Oh, really? Not at all?
Not in the expanded universe. The books are considered canon, but the comic books are only canon if they're not contradicted by the movies or the books.
Huh.
Yeah, which makes sense. You need to be able to have some creative license, but not have it get out of control. So.
Right, and then they've given the comic book people a lot freer reign to do what they want, as opposed to the book people, where almost everything that they write plot-wise has to be approved by Lucas. Now it'll be approved by Mickey Mouse.
Which, sad to say, but in this case, may be an improvement. So, although I know the books are good.
It could be. It could be.
Did you watch the people?
The books are great.
Did you watch The People vs. George Lucas?
I did.
I do have my criticisms of Lucas, but at the same time, I spent a fair amount of my childhood running around the backyard with X-Wing fighters, Y-Wings, and the Millennium Falcon, and so I really, I'm not in the mood to criticize anymore when you really think about that. The comments about, like, he assaulted my childhood, I'm not a Jar Jar fan. I think Jar Jar is wrong, but I really, I'm going to give him credit where credit's due.
But I even Jar Jar, I always say that, when I saw the first Star Wars, which was The New Hope, I was 10 years old, and the movie was magical. And I've loved Star Wars, I think, because it was one of the first movies I ever saw as a young kid by myself, no parents, just going with friends, and it's had always a special place in my heart. Now, when I took my now, 15-year-old son to Star Wars, he was 9, and his favorite character was Jar Jar.
Huh.
So, Jar Jar and Star Wars is not necessarily written for the 40-year-olds.
Yeah.
It's still written for the 9 and 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
So I don't hate Jar Jar, because Jar Jar, the little kids liked him.
Yeah.
And it's funny, this cartoon has brought a really young audience to Star Wars. There are kids that are devoted fans to the cartoon who have never seen the movie. And it's kind of interesting.
Wow.
It is. It's very well done. I mean, the storytelling's good. I mean, I do think it's better than the prequels. I do feel that way about the Clone Wars that I've seen, and I admit I haven't watched all 5 years. I've probably watched a dozen episodes in all, but I've been very impressed by it.
I think the writing has been really good. This was the first year that they moved it to Saturday morning, so I did feel really weird getting up early on Saturday to watch a cartoon, because it brought back a lot of early memories of childhood, but I did feel a little bit weird. When it was on at night in prime time, I kind of justified it as an adult show.
Like The Simpsons.
I threw in the I threw in the towel when it went to Saturday morning.
It's totally normal, honey. It's totally normal. Nothing weird about this at all.
I've got my Honey Nut Cheerios and my Clone Wars cartoon.
Right.
That's awesome. So.
All right, well, on that note, I think that's a good note to wrap up on, because I don't know how you top that. But thank you, Your Honor. This was a great. I have to say, I was kind of intrigued by the Clone Wars and just haven't had a chance to add that to my DVR list. But I think after this talk about the legal issues they address, it sounds like Homeland and some of these other, amazing prime-time cable shows. So I think I've definitely got to check it out.
Especially this season. This season has been very much with terrorists and bombing and legal issues, and was exceptional as to those kind of things. And the 5th season's over, so we got a whole year before the 6th season.
All right.
Plenty of time to catch up.
Time to catch up.
Love the lightsaber in the background.
That's right. You gotta give a shout out.
It's nicer than mine, so that's very, very nice. Well, Your Honor, it's been a pleasure. I hope to see you when I'm in New York.